स्वयंवरे नाग्नजितिमुवाह तद्भग्नमानानपि गृध्यतो ज्ञान जग्ने क्षतशस्त्रभृतस्वशस्त्रैः Synonyms: Kakudminah, Avidhanasah. Bulls whose noses were not pierced. Damitva, subduing. Swayamvare, in the open competition to select the bridegroom. Nagnajitim, Princess Nagnajiti. Uvaha, married. Tad bhagnamanan, in that way all who were disappointed. Api, even though. Gridhyataha, wanted. Ajnan, the fools. Jagne, killed and wounded. Akshataha, without being wounded. Shastrabhritaha, equipped with all weapons. Swashastraihi, by his own weapons. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charnar Vinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation: by subduing 7 bulls whose noses were not pierced, the Lord achieved the hand of Princess Nagnajiti in the open competition to select her bridegroom. Although the Lord was victorious, his competitors asked the hand of the princess, and thus there was a fight. Well equipped with weapons, the Lord killed or wounded all of them, but he was not hurt himself. Please repeat. By subduing 7 bulls whose noses were not pierced, the Lord achieved the hand of Princess Nagnajiti in the open competition to select her bridegroom. Although the Lord was victorious, his competitors asked the hand of the princess, and thus there was a fight. Well equipped with weapons, the Lord killed or wounded all of them, but he was not hurt himself. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 3, verse number 5. Priyam Prabhurgramya Iva Priyaya. Translation. Just to please his dear wife, the Lord brought back the Parijata tree from heaven, just as an ordinary husband would do. But Indra, the king of heaven, induced by his wives, henpecked as he was, ran after the Lord with full force to fight him. Purport. The Lord once went to the heavenly planet to present an earring to Aditi, the mother of the demigods, and his wife Satyabhama also went with him. There is a special flowering tree called the Parijata, which grows only in the heavenly planets, and Satyabhama wanted this tree. just to please his wife, like an ordinary husband, the Lord brought back the tree, and this enraged Vajri, or the controller of the thunderbolt. Indra's wives inspired him to run after the Lord to fight, and Indra, because he was a henpecked husband and also a fool, listened to them and dared to fight with Krishna. He was a fool on this occasion because he forgot that everything belongs to the Lord. There was no fault on the part of the Lord, even though he took away the tree from the heavenly kingdom. But because Indra was henpecked, dominated by his beautiful wives like Shachi, he became a fool, just as all persons who are dominated by their wives are generally foolish. Indra thought that Krishna was a henpecked husband who only by the will of his wife Satyabhama took away the property of heaven, and therefore he thought that Krishna could be punished. He forgot that the Lord is the proprietor of everything and cannot be henpecked. The Lord is fully independent, and by his will only he can have hundreds and thousands of wives like Satyabhama. He was not therefore attached to Satyabhama because she was a beautiful wife, but he was pleased with her devotional service and thus wanted to reciprocate the unalloyed devotion of his devotee. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Taptakanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.
So, thank you very much again. So here we are hearing about handbag husbands. Yes. Attachment to women. No attachment is complete until the attachment to a woman is ready. Right? says in the part, 11.8 or 11.7. Here is 11.8.7.
One who has failed to control his senses immediately feels attraction upon seeing a woman's form, which is created by the illusory energy of the Supreme Lord. Indeed, when the woman speaks with enticing words, smiles coquettishly, and moves her body sensuously, his mind is immediately captured, and thus he falls blindly into the darkness of material existence, just as the moth, maddened by the fire, rushes blindly into its flames.
So the mode of passion, if a person is in the mode of passion, then immediately he is very much attracted to the
Woman.
form of a woman. Okay? Next verse.
A foolish man with no discrimination is immediately aroused at the sight of a woman, beautifully decorated with golden ornaments, fine clothing, and other accoutrements. Being eager for sense gratification, such a fool loses all intelligence and is destroyed just like a moth rushing into a blazing fire.
So you see how the mode of passion, correct? The mind is captured, associating with women, and then his intelligence is destroyed. 11:14:29.
Being conscious of the eternal self, one should give up the association with women and those intimately associated with women. Sitting fearlessly in a solitary place, one should concentrate the mind on me with great attention.
So this is saying that one should be detached from womanly association. You're going to follow it. No more. Full time. What do you do?
He just finished his university.
Finish his university.
Yeah. Now, any job is it? He's looking for a job.
Looking for a job.
He finished his university looking for a job.
So here you see, contact with women is the next verse.
Of all kinds of suffering and bondage arising from various attachments, none is greater than the suffering and bondage arising from attachment to women or from intimate contact with those attached to women.
Is that one? So all kind of suffering Hello? Suffering, attachment to woman is the most. Nothing is greater than that. Why?
Because the sense of aham mameti increases by association with women. Tumsa striyam itni bhavani to.
5, 8.
The attraction between male and female is the basic principle of material existence. On the basis of this misconception, which ties together the hearts of the male and female, one becomes attracted to his body, home, property, children, relatives, and wealth. In this way, one increases life's illusions and thinks in terms of I and mine.
So this is how the attachment increases. You know? Can you go to 11:3? 11:3:92.
Wealth is a perpetual source of distress. It is most difficult to acquire. Okay. Yeah. Shri Prabuddha said, accepting the roles of male and female in human society, the conditioned souls unite in sexual relationships. Thus, they constantly make material endeavors to eliminate their unhappiness and unlimitedly increase their pleasure. But one should see that they inevitably achieve exactly the opposite result. In other words, their happiness inevitably vanishes, and as they grow older, their material discomfort increases.
So you see this? They try to make their life very successful. Yes? But on the contrary, they are failing. Can you go back to the...
Sorry? Next verse.
Just show me the verse again, otherwise how are you going to explain that? Look, you can tell me. I'm seeing the last line. How am I going to do it? Accepting the roles of male and female in human society, the conditioned soul unite in sexual relationship and constantly make material that eliminate unhappiness and unlimitedly increase their pleasure. But one could see that they inevitably achieve exactly the opposite. In other words, their happiness inevitably vanishes, and as they grow older, their material discomfort increases. This is the result of trying to enjoy. In fact, they get more and more. Is it not? Huh? Correct?
Yes.
In other words, and it's 5:14 or 5. 14 or point 15. Seeing the household ashram, we are given that up. Remember it was 5:13. You went to see the sailing man, the last Maharaj. Yeah.
Python.
Yeah. You know? 7:13. 7:13. 7:13:26. Okay, 7:13:26. Nobody is here. This topic is so heavy.
In this human form of life, men and women unite for the essential pleasure of sex. But by actual experience, we have observed that none of them are happy. Therefore, seeing the contrary results, I have stopped taking part in materialistic activities.
Man, they think that sex life is the highest thing. Associating women is the topmost thing. That actually it says in another verse, 5:5:1. Sorry, 5:5:2.
One can attain the path of liberation from material bondage only by rendering service to highly advanced spiritual personalities. These personalities are impersonalists and devotees. Whether one wants to merge into the Lord's existence or wants to associate with the personality of Godhead, one should render service to the Mahatmas. For those who are not interested in such activities, who associate with people fond of women and sex, the path to hell is wide open. The Mahatmas are equipoised. They do not see any difference between one living entity and another. They are very peaceful and fully engaged in devotional service. They are devoid of anger and they work for the benefit of everyone. They do not behave in any abominable way. Such people are known as Mahatmas.
You see here, association with women is the path leading to
Hell.
associating with devotees is the path leading to you understand this? So Indra was very much attracted to his wife and he wanted to chastise Krishna. You know? And Krishna took the Parijata free, but he is God, he can take anything from anywhere. The reason why he brought Satyabhama was because Rukmini had Parijata plant in her garden. So she was very much envious and she wanted this plant also. So the Lord, after killing Satyabhama, what is that? Bhaumasura. Then he took the earring that he stole from Aditi to return back to the mother. She is the mother of Indra. Now Krishna is trying to do some favor, bringing the earring back. And Indra just taking a little plant back, oh, Indra became very upset. See how detrimental it is, association with women, especially young men. When you know this verse. Now we will go and read how this attraction is terrible. 11:26. You can start from 11:26.
One should never associate with materialists, those dedicated to gratifying their genitals and bellies. By following them, one falls into the deepest pit of darkness, just like a blind man who follows another blind man.
That, you associate with people who are interested in the genitals and the bellies. What is that genitals? Sex life. And what is that belly?
Eating.
Eating anything and everything. Right? So if you associate such people, then you are going to the deepest pit of darkness. What is that deepest pit of darkness?
Under hell.
Right? See how dangerous it is? Next.
The following song was sung by the famous emperor Pururava. When deprived of his wife, Urvashi, he was first bewildered, but by controlling his lamentation, he began to feel detachment. When she was leaving him, even though he was naked, he ran after her just like a madman and called out in great distress, "Oh my wife, oh terrible lady, please stop." Although for many years Pururava had enjoyed sex pleasure in the evening hours, still he was not satiated with such insignificant enjoyment. His mind was so attracted to Urvashi that he did not notice how the nights were coming and going.
See, this is what happens when you get involved with a woman. You don't know, you don't care. You're simply sleeping in the lap. You don't know how days and nights are passing. You understand? Next.
King Aila said, "Alas, just see the extent of my delusion. This goddess was embracing me and held my neck in her grip. My heart was so polluted by lust that I had no idea how my life was passing."
How lust bewilders the understand? So dangerous. That's why Krishna said in the Bhagavad Gita, the greatest enemy is what? What is the greatest enemy?
Lust and anger.
Lust and anger. Kama yesha krodha
Desha
yesha
rajoguna samudbhava.
Correct? Next.
That lady cheated me so much that I did not even see the rising or setting of the sun. Alas, for so many years I passed my days in vain.
Sex life. Doesn't know. So many years gone. Pururava, he was, who he is not? The son of actually Yajaki, I think. I may be wrong, but I think so. Then you see what next?
Alas, although I am supposed to be a mighty emperor, the crown jewel of all kings on this earth, just see how my bewilderment has rendered me a toy animal in the hands of women.
darling, do this, and that's it, darling, no breaks. Yeah? How dangerous? Would you want to follow such a man? Yeah? Next.
Although I was a powerful lord with great opulence, that woman gave me up as if I were no more than an insignificant blade of grass. And still, naked and without shame, I followed her, crying out to her like a madman.
You were so crazy for her. Yeah? You know why you ran with? He became naked and ran. Because Urvasi was married to him, and on condition that he will never appear naked in front of her except for having a relationship. So Indra, he wanted to have her back in the heavenly kingdom because she was the most beautiful woman in the whole heaven. Who was. So she had 2 lamps, while she was staying with him. So Indra made arrangement to steal the lamp in the middle of the night. And then Urvasi became, she cried, because the lamp was. So poor Purava went out, he was naked and he went out. And then he was trying to capture his 2 lamps. And as a result, they then started shining a bright light, And then she saw him naked and said, okay, now I have to leave your association. So while she's leaving, he's running behind her like that. You understand? This is there in the Bhagavatam, you can read the story. Next.
Where are my so-called great influence, power and sovereignty? Just like an ass being kicked in the face by his she-ass, I ran after that woman who had already given me up.
You see how the mind possessed. Person who is completely caught by a woman, see how he doesn't care, he runs, crying. Have you seen a dog running after the car is coming? He doesn't care. Have you seen? Runs. See how? I think we saw a bull also. He was licking the genitals of the cow. The urine was coming out, he was drinking the urine also. That means he become like what?
Animal.
Praise the God. Next.
What is the use of a big education or the practice of austerities and renunciation? And what is the use of studying religious scriptures, of living in solitude and silence, if after all that one's mind is stolen by a woman?
Oh. What the use of this knowledge? Education, renunciation, the tapasya, everything. If the mind
Captured by me.
the fall down, is that what? Fall down. Understand? If you are a guru, you will do this, what happens? Happen? What is it? So what is going on? It makes let's go on. Next.
To hell with me. I am such a fool that I didn't even know what was good for me. Although I arrogantly thought I was highly intelligent, although I achieved the exalted position of a lord, I allowed myself to be conquered by women as if I were a bullock or a jackass.
Understand? You see how if your mind is taken over by a woman, you are worse than an animal, jackass. You know what the meaning of a jackass? If someone who is a real fool, they call him a jackass. Correct? Next.
Even after I had served the so-called nectar of the lips of Urvashi for many years, my lusty desires kept rising again and again within my heart and were never satiated, just like a fire that can never be extinguished by the oblations of ghee poured into its flames.
Understand, lust cannot be what? Satiated by any amount of
Sense gratification.
lusty action. Just like fire, you put ghee, fire won't die, it will grow.
More and more.
Yeah. So in order to overcome this lust, you see how it will be described. Lust can only be overcome by serving to the Lord. Otherwise, this lust cannot be. How much you go on with it, you cannot extinguish it. And neither can you extinguish it when you grow old also. Doesn't mean that you grow old, the lust will die out. That's a word also for that. You know what is it? 9 old Gayati, 9 something. We'll come back to this. Something in 980.
987.
Huh?
11, is it 9:18:37? O learned worshipful Brahman, I have not yet satisfied my lusty desire in the order.
No. There's a word that says even in old age, lust remains, Lust cannot be finished even in
Old age.
Anyway, we'll find that verse. So, lust doesn't deteriorate even as your age what? Only way you can succumb this, as we will be reading. Okay, carry on.
Who, by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who lies beyond material perception and is the Lord of self-satisfied sages, can possibly save my consciousness, which has been stolen by a prostitute?
Is it Is it 9, 19, 17? Just as this
16, 16. 16. 9, 19, 16. 9, 19, 16.
9, 19, 16.
For those who are too attached to material enjoyment, sense gratification is very difficult to give up. Even when one is an invalid because of old age, one cannot give up such desire for sense gratification. Therefore, one who actually desires happiness must give up such unsatisfied desires, which are the cause of all tribulations.
So that even in imbalance, one time is Akbar. And what's the name?
Birbal, Akbar Birbal.
So Akbar said, Birbal said, last cannot give up even in old age. What is it? You cannot shake your leg like that. You understand? That means you are agitating your genitals. Hello? You have some distance with your genitals. So then, Akbar didn't believe that. So he arranged. An old man who was dying. He was. So Akbar, he told you, bring your doctor to visit this old man. So first they went first, sat, and then observing the man. Then he asked the king to bring his doctor. So the moment the doctor came in, his old man eyes twinkled, even though he was going to die. Akbar understood. Yes. Very, very powerful. Understand? So then, go back to the. I think you can also see our Mr. Sannyasi, 84 years old.
Yes.
84. No. I don't know that age you can really walk. Go back to the read.
Who but the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who lies beyond material perception and is a Lord of self-satisfied sages, can possibly save my consciousness, which has been stolen by a prostitute?
So here we see smart. He's saying, but who but the Supreme Personality of
Godhead.
Now why the Lord can save me? How does it work? Huh? How does it work? If you go back to that verse 11, 14, just now what? Just now was 29, is it? 11, 14, 29.
26, 14.
11, 14, 29, I think we went. 29 and 30.
30.
Yeah, we went to 29.
31. Can you read this?
Shri Uddhava said, My dear lotus-eyed Krishna, by what process should one who desires liberation meditate upon you? Of what specific nature should his meditation be?
Not this verse. 14:27. Okay.
The mind of one meditating upon the objects of sense gratification is certainly entangled in such objects. But if one constantly remembers me, then the mind is absorbed in me.
Is that point here? So your mind will engage in thinking of sense gratification, then you get, entangled. Bhagavad Gita 2:62, correct? You know?
Yeah.
You know that word, right? Do you know? Go and show me. While contemplating the objects of the senses, a person develops attachment for them, and from such attachment, lust develops, and from lust, anger arises. When you think of the sense object, what happens?
You develop attachment,
Attraction leads to
lust.
correct? When lust is not fulfilled, anger.
Yeah, anger develops.
Next verse.
From anger, complete delusion arises, and from delusion, bewilderment of memory. When memory is bewildered, intelligence is lost, and when intelligence is lost, one falls down again into the material pool.
See, just by attracting to the sense object. Right? Go back. 28. 11, 14, 28. See, so when you think of the law, therefore, one should reject all material process of elevation which are like the mental plane of dream, and should completely absorb one's mind in me. By constantly thinking of me, one becomes purified. So how to purify lust?
By thinking of it.
Only way by. So this is why we have the form of the Lord. That's why Krishna also said, Man mana bhava margata. Why he said that? Because by thinking of him, this Maya will be eradicated. Follow. Sexual attraction can be nullified if we transfer that attraction to the attraction of the
Form of the Lord.
You understand this point? Go back. Next verse.
Because I allowed my intelligence to become dull, and because I failed to control my senses, the great confusion in my mind did not go away, even though Urvashi herself gave me wise counsel with well-spoken words.
Although she was telling him, still his lust did not go away. So nobody can clean up this lust until and unless you think of the Lord. Understand? Only Krishna can purify the heart. You follow? And there's another verse, Kamadinam Kati Katita. You know that verse? Kamadinam.
This is Madhya 22:16. Oh my Lord, there is no limit to the unwanted orders of lusty desires.
See this Kamadina, Katina, Katida, Balita, Durni Desham, Jata, Mahina, Karuna, Natrapa, Na Upashanti, Utshvetam, Yata, Yadupatesham, Praptam, Lapta, Buddhistam, Ayata, Sharanam, Abhayamam, Nikunja Sevyatmadasi. This was a lot of explanation on it. Let's go.
O my Lord, there is no limit to the unwanted orders of lusty desires. Although I have rendered these desires so much service, they have not shown any mercy to me. I have not been ashamed to serve them, nor have I even desired to give them up.
See that? See how lust, we serve them so much, it gets more and more contaminated. And we serve them in so many ways also. And he doesn't want to give it up. See that? That's how lust is. However, my intelligence has been awakened, and now I am giving them up. Well, how is it possible? Due to transcendental intelligence, I have now refused to obey the unwanted orders of this desire. And I now come to you to surrender myself as a fearless Krishna. That is the only way you can overcome
Lust.
by surrendering to the
Lotus feet of Krishna.
In other words, you must transfer your consciousness to Krishna consciousness. There's no other recourse of trying to purify yourself from. There's no other. When always you are addicted, especially this pornography. It's so dangerous. Just see over and over again the person having what? Illicit sex. Right? All because of the genitals of a woman. See how the mind. Understand? It's so dangerous. The only way you can keep this up with that, right? Kindly engage me in your personal service and say, you understand? Krishna's Maya is what?
Very difficult to overcome.
Impossible. Understand? That's why Krishna said in that verse,
Devi Yesha Gurana.
Mama
Maya Gurutya. Devi
This Mam Eva Prapasyante doesn't mean that you go directly to Krishna. It's not possible.
The pure devotees.
What are you doing? You're walking out and down. What are you doing? Either you sit down or you go out. You understand? Huh? You follow. It is not possible. How you take? Krishna says you surrender to me, you will overcome my mind. Well, how to do that? How do you think you can do that? Huh? It's not possible to go directly to Krishna. You can think of Krishna. Is it possible?
No.
Therefore, there is another verse, 11:48.
My dear Uddhava, I am personally the ultimate shelter and way of life for saintly liberated persons. And thus, if one does not engage in my loving devotional service, which is made possible by associating with my devotees, then for all practical purposes, one possesses no effective means for escaping from material existence. Without association of devotees, not possible.
In other words, without the help of
Pure devotee, not possible.
sense. Krishna said very simple, you come to me, you can overcome. But how to overcome? See? You have to go through his.
Pure devotee.
Otherwise it's not possible to overcome his mind. You follow? Go back.
How can I blame her for my trouble when I myself am ignorant of my real spiritual nature? I did not control my senses, and so I am like a person who mistakenly sees a harmless rope as a snake.
cannot blame the woman for this. To blame who?
Myself.
Why? Because I have failed to control my
Senses.
You understand? Well, next.
What is this polluted body anyway? So filthy and full of bad odors. I was attracted by the flower-like fragrance and beauty of a woman's body. But what are those so-called attractive features? They are simply a false covering created by illusion.
Shankaracharya said,
Nari stanabhara nabhi desham drishtva marga vesham.
breast of a woman, which is nothing but
Mom,
pus,
flesh,
blood, mucus.
flesh, blood, stool, urine.
Understand? Next. They're so attracted to the body. What is this body?
One can never decide whose property the body actually is. Does it belong to one's parents who have given birth to
Does
it?
it belong to your parents who have given birth to it? The same thing it is there.
To one's wife who gives it pleasure? Or to one's employer who orders the body around? Is it the property of the funeral fire or of the dogs and vultures who may ultimately devour it? Is it the property of the indwelling soul who partakes in its happiness and distress? Or does the body belong to intimate friends who encourage and help it? Although a man never definitely ascertains the proprietor of the body, he becomes most attached to it. The mental body is a polluted material form heading toward lowly destination. Yet, when a man stares at the face of a woman, he thinks, what a good looking lady, what a charming nose she's got, and see her beautiful smile.
Hare Krishna, this is some thoughts. Understand? The mind, you understand? That's why Krishna said, my Maya, you cannot escape. Mama Maya,
Duratya.
nobody can escape Krishna's Maya. Only one person, Narayana.
What difference is there between ordinary worms and persons who try to enjoy this material body composed of skin, flesh, blood, muscle, fat, marrow, bone, stool, urine, and pus? Worms.
This is what the body is all about.
Not even dog or hog. Worms. Not even dog or hog. Worms.
Next.
Yet, even one who theoretically understands the actual nature of the body should never associate with women or with men attached to women. After all, the contact of the senses with their objects inevitably agitates the mind.
Right? That's why we are warned. Don't associate with women. You know, that's the word. Women are like fire. Man is like
Butter.
you cannot put fire and butter.
Butter will melt.
Which butter will not melt in which fire? Yes?
Yes.
Understand? Next.
Because the mind is not disturbed by that which is neither seen nor heard, the mind of a person who restricts the material senses will automatically be checked in its material activities and become pacified.
So the only way is to restrict the material sense. And you cannot actually explain this is by engaging them in the service
Service
of
of the Lord.
Understand? This is the only way. Unless you bring something to the notice of the Lord, Maya will overtake you. No other way. Next.
Therefore, one should never let his senses associate freely with women or with men attached to women. Even those who are highly learned cannot trust the 6 enemies of the mind. What to speak then of foolish persons like me?
You know what is the 6?
Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya.
Next.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, having thus chanted this song, Maharaj Pururava, eminent among the demigods and human beings, gave up the position he had achieved in the planet of Urvashi. His illusion cleansed away by transcendental knowledge, he understood me to be the Supreme Soul within his heart, and so at last achieved peace.
This is the only way you can overcome lust. Understand? You understand it? Next.
An intelligent person should therefore reject all bad association and instead take up the association of saintly devotees whose words cut off the excessive attachment of one's mind.
This is why you must take association of what?
Devotees.
You understand? Their words what?
Cut off the
Our
attachment.
words, they are not understand, their words are what? Sharp. As a razor. Cut your nonsense Maya. Yes. Next. This word I am Sanskrit. See this word? Mano vyasangam yukti deep. This word. Santa eva se chindanti. Chindanti means cutting. Mana vyasangam yukti deep. Yukti deep means strong words, you know. See the translation? Yukti deep. Vyasangam yukti deep. That's why the sadhus, their words are what? Very powerful.
Powerful.
Cut your mind. Otherwise, just now we read, you want to overcome Krishna's Maya, you have to go and take shelter of her.
Pure devotees.
And by the association, you will be able to
Overcome.
understand what it means. How they give association? Strong words.
Stones.
Next.
My devotees fix their minds on me and do not depend upon anything material. They are always peaceful, endowed with equal vision, and free from possessiveness, false ego, duality, and greed. O greatly fortunate Uddhava, in the association of such saintly devotees, there is constant discussion of me, and those partaking in this chanting and hearing of my glories are certainly purified of all sins.
Understand? It's why we are, chanting and Seko Darpanam. Chanting Krishna's name. Get
Free from
Simpata Swagata Krishna Punya
Shravana Kirtana.
This is the whole idea. Only Krishna and his name and pastime and activities can purify the soul. Nobody else can purify. From this very greatest bondage, what is that? Lust. Yes, every one of us stuck here because of. Next.
Whoever hears, chants, and respectfully takes to heart these topics about me becomes faithfully dedicated to me and thus achieves my devotional service.
So if Krishna's name is so purifying that you chant, you can come out of lust, and he himself becomes lusty for his wife. Does it make any sense? Huh? Understand? So Krishna, although he may seemingly want to do something for his wife, it's only out of service, the proper rights in the. It is out of service to, because it pleases with the devotion. Before, it's not that you're running after because it's unpacked like Indra. Two personalities, Indra here and
Krishna.
Not that Indra is, he got upset, the queen saying Krishna is taking the, how you can allow Krishna to take this fun out of you? Because his wives are telling him he is running after Krishna to fight with Krishna. Correct? But Krishna, they say, is also handpacked because Satyabhama said, please take this plant. Correct? But it's not that Krishna is handpacked. Understand? He is simply satisfying her because of her devotion to two different minds.
What more remains to be accomplished for the perfect devotee after achieving devotional service unto me, the Supreme Absolute Truth, whose qualities are innumerable and who am the embodiment of all ecstatic experience? Just as cold, fear, and darkness are eradicated for one who has approached the sacrificial fire, so dullness, fear, and ignorance are destroyed for one engaged in serving the devotees of the Lord.
You know, if you want to come out of this lust, only way is the service of the
Devotees of the Lord.
There is no other way you can escape this lust without serving the devotees of the
Lord.
Next.
The devotees of the Lord, peacefully fixed in absolute knowledge, are the ultimate shelter for those who are repeatedly rising and falling within the fearful ocean of material life. Such devotees are just like a strong boat that comes to rescue persons who are at the point of drowning.
You want to escape the Maya, the only way is to take shelter of the
Pure devotee.
next.
Just as food is the life of all creatures, just as I am the ultimate shelter for the distressed, and just as religion is the wealth of those who are passing away from this world, so my devotees are the only refuge. My devotees are the only refuge of persons fearful of falling into a miserable condition of life. Only shelter.
Everyone who pass away, their only wealth is the religion, the dharma they have done, the punya. They carry their punya. Understand? And food is for everybody. Everybody subsists on
Food.
food grains. Annat bhavanti
Bhutani.
bhutani. Then, and the Lord is the super soul in everybody's heart. So the only way you can get refuge is by taking shelter of the devotees of the heart. Next.
My devotees bestow divine eyes, whereas the sun allows only external sight, and that only when it is risen in the sky. My devotees are one's real worshipable deities and real family. They are one's own self, and ultimately they are non-different from me.
So here he started off by saying the association of women, how he became degraded. Correct? And now he is saying the only way I can come out of this is and they are the real. They can give you what? Divine eyes. Whereas the sun will give only light when he comes up. But devotees will give light all anytime. Yes? Isn't it? So this is more or less finished. Next, last one. I think he sums it up,
Thus, losing his desire to be on the same planet as Urvashi, Maharaj Pururava began to wander the earth free of all material association and completely satisfied within the self. That's it.
So you understand now, so the whole subject of today is about becoming controlled by Guru. So we have explained how the conditioned soul will easily be manipulated by and how to come out of that also is explained in this. So is it clear? It's not clear, clear. Whatever, we are like, we,
Please, lunch. Good lunch.
oh, okay. I thought it was theory. So you must put the wires down to the kitchen and here. The speaker, simply the speaker you have here, you put downstairs. Or you can connect by Wi-Fi, I don't know. Now you can do by Wi-Fi. Yes?
You can just, any speaker will do, connect the mobile phone and telecast, like telecast.
You should do that so they can be hearing. Yes.
This is being
They
streamed.
have a
Right?
speaker there. They have.
They have a speaker, they can just play the same lecture.
Yeah,
It's being
they have.
streamed online.
I told them lecture should always go on while cooking. And before something.
That is very important subject.
Yes.
Not important.
We gave a speaker and
Do
told
you ever know about this chapter? You know. Those who don't know.
This whole chapter is
highly.
amazing.
Some chapters that I was reading this prayers of Brahma, 10th canto. I want to take the important notes. I want to do the whole chapter. every verse of Brahma is like,
Because everything is important, no? That's why I see today we are reading the whole thing. It is a subject about handpack.
Henpeck has been.
Two different personalities. One can cure your handpackness and one is completely baffled by that. Understand? So, how to explain this? Right? Like, you don't know, you will know where to go and get these verses. Yes? How you have to know where to go to explain. You follow? So that's why the whole Bhagavatam is very important. Of course, you can explain this also King Gayatri, also King fourth canto,
Ranjana.
Ranjana.
Puranjana. Also there, how he became worse, in fact, and he became woman. You know, the problem of this is that if you don't control, becomes so much absorbed. You can go to the verse 430, 31. That thinking of the woman, he became woman. 31 or 32? 432. Sorry? Huh? Three, not four. 332.
Oh, 331, 35.
Yeah.
Brahma.
No.
Infatuation and bondage which are proved man from attachment to any other object is not as complete as resulting from the attachment to woman or to fellowmanship of men who are born of woman.
No.
That's it. It's not the God.
41. 331, 41.
A living entity who, as a result of attachment to woman in his previous life, has been endowed with the form of a woman, foolishly looks upon Maya in the form of a man, her husband, as the bestower of wealth, progeny, house, and other material assets.
Okay? Previous life because of attachment to
Woman.
woman. And now they've got the body of a
Body of a woman.
huh? Understand? So that's why see that Puranjan, he was so much attached to his wife. Next life he became a
Woman.
huh? Krishna says 8:6. Huh? Bhagavad Gita, yam yam smaranam
Yam hapi smaran bhavam
devadevam
tam tam evaiti kamteya sada tadbhava bhavitah.
So you see how dangerous it is. That if you are overly attached to the woman, the next man,
Whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, O son of Kunti, that state he will attain without fail.
yes. So you think it is fun to just take body of a woman? Nice. Somebody take care of you, you should please sit at home and everything. Good. You understand? It is lower birth, it is what? They cannot do many things. That's why Krishna says, those who are low born, 932. Huh? Lower birth.
Mami patrita shitra yepi su papayoneha yo vaishyas tatha shudras tepi ant paramati. O son of Pritha, those who take shelter in me, though they be of lower birth, women, Vaishyas or merchants, and Shudras or workers, can attain the supreme destination.
But of course, they still can go back to Godhead if they become devotees. Huh? But if they don't become devotees, then they go again lower and lower. Correct? So therefore, it's very dangerous to get entangled with. Yes? So okay, I guess I will stop here. Any questions or comments?
This how we say, I mean in the past there was not so much advertisement about all of this. But particularly in the present, there is a lot of advertisement, and everywhere this women and all that. So, despite all this, how we can continue?
See, there are three modes of mental nature. And the woman is the embodiment of the mode of attachment. Understand? So she needs help. Her husband has to help her upgrade. That's why whatever the husband does, she gets 50%. Because her body is difficult. You understand? So the health is spiritually, what we say, just like when Puranjana fell down with the woman, she married Malaya Dwaja, who was a very highly advanced devotee. And because of his devotion, she also went back to Dwaja. You understand? So the woman's health is so strong, devoted husband. Then yes, she will also become successful. But if the husband is weak, a plaything in the hands, then what will happen? What will happen? What will happen? Understand? So it's very dangerous. Not that you can do anything you like and go home back to body. You have to play your cards. You follow. Yes? Some men think that the best way is to just please the woman. Carry her back for her, iron her panties for her. Finish. I have to learn that you need to be strong spiritually. Then you will be able to face the God. That's why brahmachari training is there. Why the training? So that the man becomes strong, spiritual. That's the whole idea. Then yes, you will be able to. Correct? Otherwise, both will go away. Where is the verse for that?
One should not even be.
Where is the verse? I just showed you the other day.
Which one the rules? Stone board, is it?
5:18:18.
Just as aquatics always desired to remain in the vast mass of water, all conditioned living entities naturally desire to remain in the vast existence of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, if someone very great by material calculations fails to take shelter of the Supreme Soul, but instead becomes attached to a material household life, his greatness is like that of a young, low-class couple. One who is too attached to material life loses all good spiritual qualities.
Exhort this way for God. See, you lose all your spiritual quality, what would happen to you? What happened to you?
Path to hell.
10:87:38.
Delusionary material energy attracts the minute living entity to embrace her, and as a result, he assumes forms composed of her qualities. Subsequently, he loses all his spiritual qualities and must undergo repeated deaths.
Is that? The classic example of Ajami. He got attracted to her and he lost all his spiritual
Qualities.
Yes? Yes or no? Then what happens? Go to hell. Right? Understand? Okay, we stop here then.
Jai.